Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
U.S. agencies hacked by China, a major step forward in cancer treatment. Meta makes a $12 billion settlement, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Iran's hardline Revolutionary Guard claimed Wednesday the U.S. is obstructing an agreement between Iran and Oman to secure a safe transit route through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran and Oman have already reached an agreement on their respective shares of the vital economic artery, controversially including revenues associated with its administration, Revolutionary Guard representatives told the government-affiliated Tasnim news agency. The Revolutionary Guard said the strait would remain closed if the U.S. does not accept Iran's conditions. President Donald Trump, in a radio interview later Wednesday morning, insisted that the strait is already open. The United States announced Wednesday that it disrupted a China-linked hacking operation accused of targeting government and commercial networks. The Justice Department seized domains used by two hacking platforms called QScan and QT-Router. Federal investigators linked the platforms to hacking groups in China. An affidavit identified break-ins or attempted intrusions involving the Justice Department, NASA, the Federal Reserve, and the Senate. Investigators also cited attacks on 3 Energy Department laboratories, the National Institutes of Health, another Health and Human Services agency, and a U.S. security device manufacturer. The affidavit states that the hackers used their tools against critical infrastructure and other sensitive networks in the United States and abroad since at least 2018. CIA Director John Ratcliffe held talks in Moscow with Russian intelligence officials during a visit confirmed Wednesday. The Kremlin reported that Ratcliffe did not meet President Vladimir Putin and that Putin was briefed on the discussions. The subjects of the meetings were not disclosed. President Donald Trump described the trip as semi-routine and stated that the United States wants Russia's war with Ukraine to end. Ratcliffe traveled to Moscow on Tuesday. At least 160 people were killed in Nepal and China, and hundreds more were missing Wednesday as flash floods devastated the country's Himalayan border region. In Nepal, at least 157 were dead, according to the Nepali police, and 403 people, including 47 U.S. citizens, were among the missing. In China, where the flood caused severe casualties, state media reported at least 3 were reported dead and 265 missing. A federal judge Wednesday lifted an injunction that had blocked President Donald Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting, allowing the order to take effect for now ahead of the November midterm elections. U.S. District Judge Indira Tawani removed the stay after the Supreme Court ruled this week that an earlier challenge by states was premature because implementation rules had not yet been finalized. Separately, 24 states and the District of Columbia filed a new lawsuit against the U.S. Postal Service seeking to block rules implementing the order. The Postal Service rule requires trackable barcodes on mail ballot envelopes and directs state election officials to submit names and addresses of voters receiving mail ballots through an online portal. Additional court challenges remain active. A federal judge appointed by former President Joe Biden is siding with the Trump administration in refusing to dismiss a case against a House Democrat accused of assaulting federal immigration officers. 2 of the 3 judges on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit refused to dismiss the Department of Justice case against Representative LaMonica McIver, the Democrat from New Jersey, stemming from a 2025 incident at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Newark, New Jersey. An unannounced visit to the Delaney Hall detention center by a group of Democratic officials devolved into chaos in May 2025 that culminated in a physical standoff between federal lawmakers and ICE agents and the arrest of Newark Mayor Ross Baraka. McIver was charged with 3 counts, including assaulting and impeding federal officers. In a move that experts expect to transform care for one of the deadliest cancers, the Food and Drug Administration yesterday approved a pancreatic cancer treatment that in clinical trials extended some patients' lives nearly twice as long as standard chemotherapy. The daily pill from Revolutionary Medicines was approved for patients with metastatic pancreatic cancer who have already tried chemotherapy. Though the pill is not a cure, it's considered a major advancement as it targets a genetic mutation found in pancreatic cancers as well as some other cancers that scientists have been working for years to address. Meta agreed Wednesday to pay at least $12.1 billion over 10 years and accept new restrictions for young users to settle state claims involving Facebook and Instagram. The payment could rise by another $5 billion to $17.1 billion if other major social media companies adopt comparable child safety measures. The federal case involved claims from 29 states alleging that Meta designed its platforms to addict children, misled the public about safety, and improperly collected children's personal data without parental consent. Meta denied the allegations. The agreement requires daily time limits for young users, restricted access during certain nighttime hours, muted notifications during school hours, and additional parental controls. Some nighttime restrictions are conditional on competitors adopting similar limits. Meta expects implementation of the changes to take about 6 months. SpaceX announced Tuesday it plans to build its largest rocket launch site in southern Louisiana, investing $100 billion in a complex that could ultimately support thousands of Starship flights each year. The 125,000-acre site on Pecan Island in Vermilion Parish, called Starbase Louisiana, would become SpaceX's 4th U.S. launch location and its 2nd Starbase campus, Reuters reported. Construction is slated to begin in 2027, with the first Starship launch planned for 2029, according to SpaceX. SpaceX expects the project to create more than 3,000 jobs. In a video, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk said the company could eventually bring probably 10,000 really exciting jobs to Louisiana. That's the Raw Naked Truth for August 27th, 2026. Remember to like and subscribe to the Raw Naked Truth wherever you listen to podcasts. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.